Here's my attempt at Boston with my deep brain stimulation off. There's just no way. And again, with my essential tremor, this is impossible unless I have my deep brain stimulation on. Here we go. Excelente.
Alright, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom. And you see from this video here, this guy here, he has a... here, I'll just go to the Google. Because he mentioned a few things. He said he has essential tremors. And what he has is a device implanted in his brain called a deep brain, or what it is called is deep brain stimulation. So the device implanted in his brain is it's called deep brain stimulation. And this is just a quick AI overview. It says deep brain stimulation is a surgical procedure that uses electrical impulses to regulate abnormal brain activity, typically used to treat movement disorders like Parkinson's disease and essential tremor. So that guy had essential tremor. And you see, I just want to look at this picture. You see the implants that he has on there. Now, I'm not saying this is the MOTB, but there are devices similar to this, like Neuralink. There's other companies similar to Neuralink that are doing this, that essentially rewire your brain, shock your brain, and you can do things that you weren't normally able to do. So it says this is in purpose. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish reading that. DBS involves implanting electrodes into specific areas of the brain, and which are then connected to a pulse generator, a device that delivers electrical stimulation. So, basically shocks your brain. So, DBS is a neurosurgical technique used to manage symptoms of neurological conditions when medications are no longer effective or cause unacceptable side effects. It says electrodes are implanted into the brain. This is the different diseases or conditions treated. It says Parkinson's disease. Basically, it helps with your, you lose control of your motor functions. So, it helps with, I'll just read that. It helps with Parkinson's disease. DBS is a common treatment for Parkinson's, helping to manage motor symptoms like tremors, rigidity, and slow movement. DBS can effectively reduce tremors that are resistant to medication. DBS can help control the muscle spasms and abnormal movements associated with dystonia, obsessive compulsive disorder. Basically, if you've read or seen anything about the Delgado bull, there's this scientist by the name of Delgado that put electrodes into a bull's brain, and was basically, when he turned that thing on, whenever the bull charged, it would stop the bull in its place, basically, shocking the bull into submission. And so this is similar to that. Imagine they got these studies from, that experiment. So benefits: DBS can significantly reduce symptoms, allowing patients to function more effectively and potentially decrease their reliance on medications. While the procedure is relatively safe and well tolerated with minimal tissue damage compared to older surgical techniques, DBS is often considered a long-term solution, with many patients experiencing sustained relief for years. Now, they don't really go into how long, because this is how long they've been doing this. You know, like they don't tell you how long they've been putting implants into people's brains and doing this, so they can't really tell you, this is long lasting, lifetime things. But anyway, DBS is not a cure for neurological conditions, but rather a way to manage symptoms. So they're not actually, the way this devil works, he's going to show you different miracles, or which these are on the left hand side. He's going to show you these things like, look, you can get help with your conditions, but you're still underneath all that. He might turn that machine on and whatever, and he's able to manage, but he still has that. He still has those tremors. When the battery goes out on that, if it stops working, he still has that condition. And that's that's what the power of Satan, I guess, so to say, because Satan can't cast out Satan. Satan being Esau Edom, he can't cast out spiritual demons, which is what you're dealing with here. These different conditions, these different things, these are different, spirits on you, which is all judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Says also some patients may experience side effects such as infection, bleeding, or changes in mood or cognition. So you're going to have all kinds of things. And then, just for time's sake, there was another thing that I was reading that said that the people that most of the people that got this, their cause of death was pneumonia. When you look into that word pneumonia, that's going into your breath or your spirit. So this is a thing that really messes you up. I'm going to start here. This is Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, because it's here the scriptures. I'm going to just read Romans 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So things that are written in the scriptures, these warnings, especially about the MOTB, these were written for us. These are for our learning. We have the learning of the kingdom of heaven to come. Salvation, who our enemies are, the destruction coming, the MOTB. And we have all this to learn from the scriptures, which the scriptures are a light to us. Whereas otherwise, if we're in the world, we'd be walking in darkness. So, again, Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these give us the how do you say, the eye salve. These are opening our eyes to what's up ahead, and what certain ailments, what certain things are. So this here, when I was watching that video and kind of thinking about meditating on this, a few things came to mind, because he's having, it says it can help with epilepsy, it can help with these involuntary shakes. So here in the scriptures, you have examples of that. So the scriptures were written for our learning. So Matthew chapter 17, and I'll start at verse 14. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. So let's look at this word for lunatic. This is G4583. Selenia zomai, says to be moonstruck or lunatic, and it also means to be epileptic. So to have seizures. So and I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. So the disciples, they couldn't help the man and his son. So he went to Yahushai. Then Yahushai answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you, and how long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. So Yahushua was able to send that demon that was on that child, that was causing him to have, seizures, to throw him around. He's moving involuntarily. Yahushua was able to fully cure him, to send that demon out of his body. Which, as I was thinking about this is a spiritual thing. You can't do something physical, like put a device in you or whatever to cast out a demon. This is a spiritual battle we're fighting. So, verse 19, then came the disciples to Yahushua apart and said, why could not we cast him out? And Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. So he was saying to his disciples, because you don't have faith, your faith isn't built up to perform miracles like this. And he said, howbeit, this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. So this kind of demon, you need to pray and fast to get this off of you. So that's giving you, it's not physical weapons. This is a spiritual weapon. These are part of our arsenal. Fasting, prayer, these are very powerful things. Very powerful things that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has given to us. The faith is important. The faith is something that's given. It's not even, how do you say it? It's not, the faith isn't of ourselves, it's a gift. So, the point being the weapons, which, let me just get to that. It's the 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. So we're in these bodies. We got to eat. We walking in this flesh. But this is a spiritual battle. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai to the pulling down of strongholds. So our weapons are spiritual weapons, prayer, fasting. This is Ephesians chapter 6, and I'm going to get to the point, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. So against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So we're fighting against demons, spirits. We're not, this war isn't physical. Yet, Esau is going to come down like with a great wrath, like a flood. But for the moment, we're fighting spiritual battles. We're fighting against different ailments, different aches and pains in our bodies, different mental problems, all kinds of demons messing with us every day. Dealing with other people's demons. So this is a constant battle that we're fighting. We're behind enemy lines and enemy territory. Again, Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So part of this devil's, which you have the spiritual demon Satan, and you have his physical counterpart, Esau Edom, who's playing the part of the devil, who's able to perform miracles. Which you've seen that guy with the brain implant. That's a miracle that he's able to do. Let me see here. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, or Salakia, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And he's being consumed by prophecy now. And when he comes and he returns, he's going to completely destroy him. So that wicked is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the border of wickedness. Malachi 1 and verse 4. Who the world's been given into the hands of. Job 9 and 24. Esau Edom has the power of the sword. He has the power of sorcery, witchcraft. The technology that you see, that implant that guy had, that's a part of his witchcraft. That's a part of his miracles that he's able to do. So this is even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So here, you go look at that word Satan, that's referring to a man with, as a matter of fact, I'll just go to that. This is G4567, Satanas. It says, the adversary, let me see here. It says, because it's also a Satan-like man, and that's one who opposes another in purpose or act. So this man is opposing Yahushai. He opposeth and exalts himself as God, if you read up a few verses. But this is that man. By his demons, he is able to take possession of men and inflict them with diseases. And with those implants, you can have mind control over people. He has power over diseases. This devil. Does he not have biolabs and things like that? But anyway, let's not focus on that. So 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power. Let's look at that word for power. That's dynamis. So he has the strength. He has the ability now, the power for performing miracles. That guy, he couldn't play guitar before. He couldn't even hold the guitar steady. And then when he turned the machine on, now he can play. He can play steady. He can speak. Signs. This is G4592. Simeon says a sign, a mark, a token of miracles and wonders by which God authenticates the men sent by him. Okay. In this case, this is showing that he's sent by Satan, because this is a lying wonder. That man still has that disease that he has. He still has that spirit on him. But it's just now he has an implant. And he thinks he can control it. And lying wonders, pseudos, a lie. And Terrace or wonders, G5059, Terrace is a miracle. So he's able to perform miracles with the power of Satan, because that's who's ruling the earth right now, Satan. He has control over this earth. So even him, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. So let's look at that word for working. G1753, energia, which looks like energy. Oh, efficiency. It is energy. Efficiency, energy, operation. This is working efficiency. So he's after that working efficiency of Satan. He has the Satan-like energy. This is Esau Edom. So even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all powers and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. So deceivableness, apate, G539, apate, deceit. So this man is coming with deceit. Like he's coming to help you. He's coming to cure you. He's going to cast these demons out of you, but really it's going to be worse for you. You're going to be worse off than before. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So they didn't take heed to the scriptures. They didn't know that the scriptures were written for their learning. How you learn through the scriptures who your enemies are, who Satan is, who the physical counterpart of Satan is, what to watch out for, who's been set up to give the warning. They didn't take heed to that. So all of them that didn't take heed, hey, verse 11, and for this cause, the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So you fall for this, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has put a strong delusion on you. You can't break it. That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. So the 2/3 here in Babylon the Great, this is you. You're going to be cut off. You're under a strong delusion. So I'm going to get this here, Revelation 13 and verse 16. Because this beast system, who's headed over by Esau Edom, and he has power to do all these miracles. He can make fire rain down from heaven. You know, he can perform miracles. You see the guy, he can play guitar. Revelation 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So he causeth all. He's going to make something happen. The dollar's going to crash, but right now it's voluntary. You know what I mean? This is a voluntary situation right now. You know, you can get your diseases helped out. You can get the Neuralink implant. You know, you can control a computer with your mind. You can play the guitar at the push of a button again. But in the coming times, everybody's going to be required to take this. So this devil is going to cause some event to happen through deceit, to where everybody has to take this. It's going to be some kind of reset. You know, the cash is going to go digital. There's going to be some need, some cause for this, to where you can't participate in society, because everybody is going to be required to take this. So it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So everybody's going to be required to take this. So let's look at this word for mark. This is G5480 charagma, and it says a stamp and imprinted mark. Now this here, you know, you have the Neuralink, which is like it's a chip, it's an implant still, but normally we say it's the RFID micro C-hip, which it can have all your information on it. You know, and the delivery method is Carax G5482. It says a pale, a stake, a palisade, which those are all pointed objects similar to a syringe, you know, for cutting, which is the delivery method. And you go further, G1125 grapho, which is referring to the information written on it. It says to write, to express in written characters. Getting tongue tied on that, but it's referring to the coding, the language that it's written in on the code, because it's not just going to have all the information just written on it, handwritten on it. No, it's going to be coded, whether it be binary, whatever coding that they choose to use, but it's going to have your information, your name, phone number, date of birth, ID, what state you from, where at in this NWO you are, your banking information, everything that you're going to need, your biometrics. The regular paper ID ain't going to work no more. But back to this, and Revelation 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So let's look at this word. Share. Dexios says the right side. It can be the right hand. Dex. But when I read further on, it's not going to matter which hand you take it in. It ain't going to matter where you take it. If you take this, you're going to be destroyed. Revelation 13 and verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to participate in society. without this. You can't buy or sell. What can you do here? This is a capitalist society, supposedly. You can't buy and sell, then what you doing? You can't participate in society. What are you gonna do? You gonna be homeless? So if you don't have this C-hip, if you don't have this charagma, you're not going to be able to participate in this up and coming society. So let me see, where was I going to go from here? Not something came to mind, but it passed. So we're going to go to Revelation 16. We're going to go, before I hit that, it's Revelation 16 and 2. This is Revelation 16 and verse 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So when you look at this word for noisome, that's G2556, kakos, says of bad nature, troublesome, injurious, the destructive. So they're going to have evil. This is going to be bad, what happens to them. And grievous, it says G4190, poneros, says full of labors, annoyances, hardships, bringing toils, perils, of bad nature or conditions. In the physical sense, diseased or blind. In the ethical sense, evil or wicked. So this is going to be a very evil thing. This is going to be a very evil, bad, terrible, like, just looking at the words using to describe, using to break down these words, is like, oh, that's bad. Because it's looking like, even look at this word for sword. This is G1668, Helkos, says a wound producing a discharge or pus, a sore, an ulcer. So this is going to be, these things are going to get infected. They're going to be pussing and pulsating and infected and swollen and discolored. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for these people that get this. And that's not the end all be all for it. Now, that was one of the symptoms for these implants. So let's look here. Considerations. Some patients may experience side effects such as infection, bleeding, or changes in mood or cognition. So let's look at that real quick. And it don't help. Anyway, hey, I'll just look more into that. But anyway, it says it get infected. It causes bleeding and changes in mood and cognition. So these sores, it's going to be bad for these people. It's going to get infected, and they're not going to know what to do. And that's not the end all be all. This is reading so many Greek words, Salakia. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So here it just says in his hand. It doesn't matter which hand you get it in. It don't matter where you get it. If you get this, you're going to be suffering. First, you're going to get a cancerous sores and infected sores. It's going to be bad, terrible. So this G5495, it just means hand. It says, Revelation 14 and verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. So you're going to get this straight, no chaser. You're going to get the wrath of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. On top of getting them nasty, infected, pulse-ridden sores. I said pus-ridden sores. So the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to be here. If you're here in Babylon the Great, in that time, you not only, them things going to get infected, you're going to be here when the missiles drop. You're not going to be delivered from that. You're going to be here when the missiles drop. You're going to be here when the chariots come, when the Yahushai and the angels come. You're going to see the elect being beamed up. You might get, what is it? You might either get zapped by the laser from the chariots or destroyed by the fire from the thermonuclear bombs. Might be both. You might get destroyed in the fire and still be alive, feeling every burning sensation in the fire. Hey, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua, it says you're gonna get this without mixture. And this is for the people. Yahweh Shem Yahushua didn't want you. You 2/3. Yahweh Shem Yahushua gave you a strong delusion so you wouldn't believe this, so that you would get this judgment. Man, that's Yahweh Shem Yahushua is greatly to be feared. So the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So you get this, and you're going to get judged if you're here in Babylon the Great. But if you of the hopeful elect, hold out. You don't have to. You're going to lose your crown for this counterfeit miracles. You think if Satan is able to perform miracles through Esau Edom on the left hand side, you don't think that Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he's not gonna perform miracles on the right hand side to show his work, to magnify his name? Because ultimately, this destruction coming is to magnify his name. So, I believe that the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai are going to be able to do miracles. And there's not going to be no counterfeit BS miracles where if you don't move your head right or something like that, the miracle is going to come undone. And you got to go see a doctor. Like with Esau Edom's technology. But Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shabbat Shalom.